Hi guys, how's it going? Nathan Colberg here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Westboro Baptist Church today. Wow, what an appalling subject. For those of you who have not had the displeasure of experiencing, hearing, or seeing Westboro Baptist Church, they are an incredibly fanatical, independent Baptist church centered in Topeka, Kansas. Their patriarch, founder, and pastor is named Fred Phelps. Their website is compassionately named GodHatesFags.com. That's all one word, of course. They have been described as a cult-like, family-oriented, small-ish congregation. Um, they they tend to keep to themselves, or so I'm told. Not much is known about them, really. There is a documentary which I have viewed on Netflix. I suggest, if you're interested in learning more about this incredibly strange and just really uh, hate-oriented, odd community, I'd suggest watching it. They have been more so in the public eye recently as their picketing and arguments and sentiments have become more widespread. Perhaps this was their ultimate goal, was to get their opinions out there. Unfortunately, they have been incredibly successful. They have been on major news networks. They have been on several talk shows. Really, just kind of unfortunate that this did come into play. But you know the media. I mean, they see freaks like this and they jump all over stuff like that. So one thing I would like to dispute, however, is something I hear a lot from the Christian community on the topic of Westboro Baptist, and that is what they are doing, what they are perpetrating and saying is unchristian. This is simply untrue. Perhaps what they are doing can be argued as unchristlike, as in something that Jesus Christ would not approve of or um, would not do himself. However, what they are doing is very closely interpretive of a Old Testament belief in the Hebrew Bible of the Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible, um, which anyone who's thumbed through the Old Testament for any amount of time sees an incredible amount of obscenities, grievances, and a lot of hatred in the name of Yahweh, the God of Abraham. And this is really what you see from Westboro Baptist in their signs, in their statements, in their website, of course, in their dehumanization and um, just appalling comments on homosexuals and gay marriage. Truly just outlandish, nutty stuff. Something that can only um, I, I mean, it's so upsetting. It's hard to speak about. Um, so yeah, what they're committing, these atrocities, uh, are in a sense very Christian. They're simply Old Testament beliefs. Um, what they're doing is incredibly Christian in the sense of a 14th century conquistador or any number of um, Western philosophies uh, in the early days in the medieval times. Something as appalling as this organization, it can only arise and be anything of a success in a place where moderatism and moderate religion are already accepted and ubiquitous. Uh, Expanding on that, you can only have fanaticism in a place where moderatism is already existent in. And so, while Westboro Baptists may be hated, while they may be despised in their community, while these people may say what they're doing is unchristian, um, one can argue that they would never even exist if the area wasn't already quite high in religiosity to begin with. You see my line of reasoning here? Uh, Somewhat ironic that you've got these religious lunatics and you've got, on one side you've got these religious lunatics, and on the other you've got these religious moderates, and they're arguing on the same basis of scripture, and the only thing that is changed is their interpretation as such. And it's really, if it wasn't so, if it wasn't on the grounds of such dehumanization of homosexuals and perpetration of hatred, it would really be comical. And in a sense, in an incredibly morbid and saddening way, it is. But I digress. Um, there you have it. If these are my personal opinions that I've formulated from seeing this incredibly strange and cult-like organization on the news, on the documentary I mentioned earlier, of which the name escapes me, and numerous talk shows. If you have anything to add, feel free to leave a comment. But that's really all I have to say about this incredibly preposterous church.